people out on the streets like with no home because they don't have any money or anything.
Eliana came up with an idea for blessing bags full of products to help the homeless.
Things to like make the person's day, like I hope you're feeling better after this bag.
He's just longing to be out there with the other kids.
He's gone through multiple surgeries and 2 rounds of year-long chemotherapy.
He's got a long way to go and we're just beginning this journey.
But one thing is for certain, he wants to play high school football on Friday nights.
Anytime that we can support a child that's in our community, we want to take an opportunity to do so.
From 3 News Now and the Omaha World-Herald, this is Omaha Sunday Morning with Jennifer Griswold.
Good morning and thanks for joining us this Sunday. I'm Jennifer Griswold. Celebrating diversity in the workplace all year long, Woodman Life is sharing stories from people in the Omaha area. This month, they are recognizing National Disability Employment by highlighting a local entrepreneur. 18-year-old TJ McNew and his father Jim operate a bow ties and socks company out of their home. McNew has Down syndrome, but as 3 News Now reporter Alexa Ray shows us, that's not defining his future.
We just want to spread happiness, selling socks and bow ties.
For father and son, Jim and TJ McNew, selling socks and bow ties with creative designs is more than a passion project. TJ was born with Down syndrome, and after he graduated from high school in May, his family wanted to help him find the right job for him.
TJ's always wanted to own his own business, and we figured this was a way to help TJ into his future. Give him an opportunity to be his own boss.
The business launched in August, and since then they have sold more than 300 pairs of socks and 75 bow ties.
We're in for the long haul for TJ, and we're going to do whatever we have to do to make this business a success.
TJ says he has 2 goals with his business.
Make people happy.
And inspire them by sharing his story.
Celebrating diversity is something that we should be doing every day. It should be part of the air that we breathe. It's part of the culture.
Tuesday, TJ McNew shared his story with employees at Woodman Life as part of their company's initiative to build awareness of disabilities in the workplace.
We have an opportunity to be a place, to be one of Omaha's best places to work. To do that, we have to make sure that everybody knows that the doors are open, and we want to be a better organization.
Jim says as a parent, you want the best for your child, and he was happy he was able to help his son achieve his goals and give him the same opportunities as anyone else.
Grow up and enjoy the things that normal people get to do, because sometimes kids with disabilities get put on the sidelines.
Jim says going forward, the family plans on giving back to Special Olympics and the Papillion School District. To help TJ in his efforts, Woodman Life gave the Papillion Schools Foundation $500 on behalf of his company. Awesome to see. Hundreds of newly settled refugees got a free checkup with the goal of improving their sight. Lutheran Family Services and One Sight, a global nonprofit, held a 4-day vision care clinic aimed at helping Omaha's refugee population. The clinic allows people in need to get free eye exams and glasses on the spot if they're needed. Doctors say this care could be a game changer for those in need.
A lot of times there's other pressing health issues that get taken care of first. Vision gets kind of put on the back burner, but unfortunately for these people, if they don't have the eye health care and the vision that they need, it's hard for them to get and maintain a job.
This type of clinic geared toward helping refugees is a pilot program. Organizers hope the success in Omaha will lead to more clinics across the nation. A unique fundraiser that involves men growing mustaches is helping grow nonprofits around the metro, and the results are smooth. 3 News Now senior reporter Jake Wazakowski explains.
It's not just a place to stay, it's a place to heal for your whole family.
For many years, the Ronald McDonald House has helped families who bring critically ill children to the Omaha area have a place to rest, a place to refuel, and a place to heal. Now they've expanded the entire building, adding space for 20 more families, more support and programming space.
This expansion was critical, and not only to the success and the continuance of the Ronald McDonald House, but the truth is we had to say no to over 1,600 families in 2 years, and that's not something that we're ever willing to do again.
With the help of Mustaches for Kids, the kitchen got a major upgrade as well. In 2017, they raised almost $450,000 and are the first to invite families to a meal, calling it the heart of the house.
This is where the families will come together and they share their experiences, and as they said earlier, outside of this house, it's almost nobody knows what they're going through. So we're really excited to help them expand this way.
The Ronald McDonald House won't soon forget the generosity of the organization. The kitchen features Mustaches all over, providing comfort for families going through the unimaginable.
It's a true exemplification of what Omaha is all about.
When the entire $10 million renovation is complete, the Ronald McDonald House will have doubled the number of rooms for guests. Administrators hope to have a grand opening in spring of 2019. We've all heard it before, seatbelts save lives, yet they still play a role in a majority of deadly crashes. Next on Omaha Sunday Morning, the push to get drivers at a specific time of day to buckle up, why the state is targeting this group. We've recently launched an effort to make Omaha a safer place for drivers. Our Safe Roads Now initiative is a series of reports digging deeper into the issue of distracted driving and solutions. And as we continue our push, a new campaign by the Nebraska DOT is underway, urging people to wear their seatbelts at night. 3 News Now photojournalist Stephanie Nolte shows us why the campaign is so important.
70% of them are nighttime unbelted fatalities.
Yes, another campaign to increase the use of seatbelts in Nebraska. Yes, it's necessary because Nebraska Highway Safety Administrator Fred Zwanacek says
we'll be out there working.
14% of people still aren't wearing their seatbelts.
Probably more surprising to the people that always comment to us that they can't understand when they hear about crashes and rollovers and people are ejected, and they just don't understand why people aren't wearing seatbelts.
But we've come a long way. Zwanacek says when he first started, our seatbelt usage in Nebraska was 11% in 1982.
In the rural parts of the state, they've driven all their life without using seatbelts, going from one field to another, and, the agricultural work that they do, they just get in and out of things frequently.
They don't think they're driving very far, so they don't really need it, but, it's been proven that seatbelts are the #1 way to save yourself in an accident.
This new effort targets nighttime drivers. NDOT says 7 out of 10 people who die in nighttime crashes are not wearing their seatbelt.
And what we know from the data is that more than half of those people would likely be walking around today.
And half of those families wouldn't be impacted by the loss of that life.
And that family's going to have a tough time, and especially when it can be, something possibly as small as just wearing your seatbelt that could have saved that person's life.
When you see these signs at the pump or the trucks driving around, please take the friendly reminder. For Safe Roads Now, Stephanie Nolte, 3 News Now.
If you would like to take a deeper look at how the number of people wearing seatbelts over the years has changed, we have charts posted on our website, 3newsnow.com. A strong front has arrived and will keep our highs today about 25 degrees below average. As the cold air settles in, we'll experience our first freeze of the fall season Monday morning. Even though temperatures will gradually warm up the rest of the week, it will still be unseasonably cool the next several days. After a wet start to the month, the rain chances drop off and the week ahead looks pretty dry. It's been 2 months since an immigration raid in O'Neill, Nebraska. We hear from a high school student now taking care of her brothers without her mom, and those in town, the impacts they feel. 2 months after ICE agents swept into the small town of O'Neill, the town is still reeling. Residents are reaching out to those impacted, opening a food pantry, offering money to pay bills, and helping deal with the legal proceedings ahead. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Kent Sievers went back to O'Neill to see how they're pulling together to rebuild.
It seemed just like a regular Wednesday morning, and I got a text from my mom saying that she was detained by the immigration. And I remember that the first words that she told me was that she loved my brothers and I, and that we needed to go home and just stay safe.
First of all, it brought the national immigration issues to O'Neill, Nebraska, which I don't think we were prepared for.
Ever since, it has been a tough around 2 months now, almost 2 months. It seems impossible that it has been more than a month since I last saw my mom.
We dealt with it from a humanitarian standpoint, that we cared about these folks as people because we knew them. You know, it's not, we knew them as individuals, we knew their families, their kids went to school here, they grew up here, they were born here. So we dealt with it that way. Our goal was, you know, that's a federal issue, we don't control immigration, but we do control how these people's lives are impacted. And I guess if we, from a humanitarian, if we can help them at a local level, that's what we tried to do.
It's put a fear in the community. Mostly because it's unknown. A lot of the people that were hired, these individuals through the labor company that was represented, needed these workers to work. The immigration workforce is vital to our economy.
Can't say in a town of 3,500 people that it's not going to have some type of an economic impact. You just can't, especially if those folks aren't here anymore, you know, like it or not, that is going to create some challenges.
It's just been very stressful, trying to balance my daily life with school, work, having to watch my brothers, not being able to see my mom. And I don't think that any teenager or any little child should go through this, because she just came to this country to give my brothers and I a better future, and she wants us to be somebody in life. So I guess that fits into that, because she basically didn't steal money, she didn't kill anybody, she was just here for her own good and our own good. I
don't question people's, I've never asked anybody their immigration status. I don't care, it's not my business. No, I don't care. I mean, I've never even thought about asking, are you here legally or not? I never asked that question. I never even thought to ask that question. And I'm like, hey, what's your name? How can I help you? That's how I always looked at it.
Today we're doing our humanitarian effort to feed and provide the immigrants with food, clothing, basic household needs, and stuff that they need to move forward until they're able to go back to work. And we're getting money from all over the country. I've had people from California all the way to Maryland send money. I can't play politics, I'm not very good at it, but I can just say that I believe we live in a really good world. We live in, people want to do right, people want to do good things. And when you give them the right information and they're able to fill in their blanks that they have inside their understanding, most of the time they buy into it.
Even though all of this happened, I think that I am still for sure going to attend college. Even if it's not for 4 years, I am still going to plan on attending too. And we will just have to see what happens with my brothers. And I just hope it's something good, because I want to focus on my future so that they can have a better future too, because my future will lead to theirs being successful too. So that's one of my goals, is to give my family a better future as well, like my mom tried to for us.
The First United Methodist Church of O'Neill is still taking donations. Items or monetary donations can be sent to or dropped off at the church. They ask if you do send a check to please note it's for the pastor's discretionary fund, so all the proceeds can go toward this outreach care. A small challenge with big results. It's called the Awaken Greatness Contest, a challenge to get area students thinking about ways they can make a difference in the world. When Omaha Sunday Morning continues, we introduce you to the young student with the winning idea. CBS Sunday Morning often brings us the stories of stars we love, a more personal look at them, and that's true this morning. I'm joined now by Tony DeCopel with a preview of an interview with Tina Turner. And hi, Tony, what can we expect?
Hey, Jenny. Well, our own Gayle King sat down with Tina Turner. Tina Turner is now 78 years old. She's got a new book out, and she's looking back on this life as one of the icons of American pop music, icons of American rock and roll. Gayle King is the absolute best person to do an interview like this. She got to a lot of places that other people have not been able to over the years. One of the interesting takeaways for me, anyway, was the making of What's Love Got to Do with It. If you're 8 years old, if you're 80 years old, you know probably a few bars from that song. Turns out Tina Turner didn't think it was going to be a hit at first. Also, Tina Turner's voice, we may love it, you may love it, but she has had a more complicated relationship with it over the years. So take a listen to that part of the interview, and then we'll talk some more.
How does your voice sound to you?
Deep, and even it goes deeper. So,
do you like your voice, Tina? Do you think you have a good voice?
you know, in the beginning I didn't. I thought it was kind of ugly because it didn't sound like Diana Ross. But then afterwards I thought, yeah, it sounds like the guys.
Sounds like Tina Turner to me. But speaking of guys, we also talk about Ike, a tumultuous relationship from Tina's past. And Gayle gets into a second act love story for Tina Turner that turns out much happier, and what Tina demanded of her husband, her now husband, about what she wanted from the relationship, what would make it work. And finally, Jenny, we get into just where in the world Tina Turner is today. Turns out it's not America.
All right, interesting stuff. Hard to believe that she didn't always love her voice, because you're right, we all love it, of course. Another topic coming up, this seemed more than a bit alarming to me, the growing number of people who think the world is flat. What's that about?
Okay, so, you know, there are a lot of people out there who are skeptical of expertise, skeptical of journalism, skeptical of people like you and I, and a bulk of those individuals don't think that NASA is telling the truth about our round Earth, and they think it's flat, and they're out to prove it. So, one of the individuals in the story is building a rocket in their yard that they hope will shoot them into near outer space, allowing them to prove once and for all, by looking out of their little window, that they see a flat Earth, not a curved Earth. Now, that may sound crazy to you. It sounds crazy to me. That's what they believe. It's a curious corner of society. I think it's more than a curio as a story, though, because it's really about this skepticism people have these days for expertise. It's like the more credentials a person has, the more likely certain people are to say, I think they're lying. I think it's all a big conspiracy. So tune in for that.
Yeah, sounds fascinating, and I love how you guys tackle different topics like that. Tony, thanks so much. CBS Sunday Morning follows Omaha Sunday Morning starting at 8 o'clock. An idea to help those in need in the community. That was the premise behind the Awaken Greatness contest put on by the Archdiocese of Omaha. Students in grades K through 12 presented their community service project ideas with a 1-minute video. 3 News Now reporter Alexa Ray takes us in the classroom of the 4th grader with the winning idea.
Hi, I'm Eliana Lee from St. Thomas More School in grade 4.
St. Thomas More was just one of the 71 schools in the Archdiocese of Omaha that took part in the Awaken Greatness Challenge throughout the month of September. Students of all ages could submit a minute-long video describing their idea for a community service project.
I don't like to see people out on the streets like with no home because they don't have any money or anything.
Eliana came up with an idea for blessing bags full of products to help the homeless.
Socks, chapstick, body wash, shampoo, granola bars, and deodorant.
Each bag will also have a different handwritten note from either Eliana or one of her classmates.
Things to like make the person's day, like I hope you're feeling better after this bag.
Out of 70 submissions, hers was randomly picked, and Eliana says the act of helping others is something she has heard about both at home and school.
They tell me to help other people and not to just worry about myself.
St. Thomas More principal Gary Davis says he's proud such a great idea came from someone so young.
We spend a lot of time talking about service and the importance of it, and we do several things throughout the year to teach that to the kids.
Eliana received $1,000 in gift cards to complete her service project, hoping to make 110 blessing bags to hand out in the coming month. In the classroom, Alexa Ray, 3 News Now.
After Eliana's service project is completed, she will receive a $200 Amazon gift card for being the first winner of the Awaken Greatness competition. Great girl there. It was a mad dash to collect the cash at Millard North High School this week as students found an interesting way to give back to their community. A song played over the intercom which let the students know they had 1 minute to pull together as much money as they could. The class that came up with the most was treated to food from Raising Cane's and Valentino's. The mad dash is actually a flash fundraiser for the United Way of the Midlands.
It's something the kids can, like, everybody can get involved in. And like I said, whether you have a $20 bill in your pocket or you got a couple quarters in your pocket, everybody feels like they can participate in it. Everybody knows it's a great cause.
Students knew 3 were planned during the week but weren't told the time or day. The day we were there, students raised more than $1,400 in one flash fundraiser. A new piece of art is getting attention in North Omaha. It went up in just days and now covers the entire side of a building. Still ahead on Omaha Sunday Morning, we talk to the man behind the piece and what he hopes it brings to the neighborhood.
The one and only Tina Turner, this Sunday morning.
In just 12 days, a brick wall in North Omaha became a mural representing the culture of the community. Omaha-born artist Reggie LaFleur painted the mural, which is part of the Union for Contemporary Arts Neighborhood Arts program. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Chris Makian caught up with LaFleur to talk about his art and the reaction it's getting.
It's a lot of love. You know, I really feel a lot of love from the folks that are around here, and people always tell me stories about kind of just how things were growing up. This is a collaboration between the Union for Contemporary Art and the Omaha Small Business Network, or is known as the OSBN. They're a group of black business owners, people that own property around this area, and basically invited me to come out and have a series of meetings with some local community members, and we went through kind of just my style of work and how I'm able to translate my work from something digital to something, you know, large scale. People are stopping in the middle of traffic. People are just like getting out of their cars and obstructing traffic just to get out and say some of the nicest things. Sort of centered around Pan-Africanism and the several generations of people that we have in this community in North Omaha, 24th and Ohio. In regards to Pan-Africanism, we basically have 3 separate portraits that I painted. Each of those portraits pertain to or relate to each of the Pan-African flag colors. So red equating to African ties to, you know, African continent and the cultures and the wisdom and the knowledge that comes from that. Black equates to black identity. So we have a person of color that identifies closely to how I identify as a male. That is put in place to basically just talk about kind of just the style and like our hair and like our clothing and the music. Just all kinds of, you know, blackness that comes from that. And then we have green, that's represented by a little girl named Tylea, who's about 9 years old. She represents the growth and fertility aspect of the mural. With this color, dealing with growth and fertility, she's 9 years old, she's growing, she's still being nurtured by her surroundings and her environments, that sort of thing. And then she's holding a basket of vegetables, which are vegetables that are grown out of, you know, various gardens and things around North Omaha. So, and then finally we have gold and yellow sort of like coins that are kind of in the background of the mural, and they represent wealth and financial stability. And that's a testament to all the development and things that are going on here. Here being at the Union and how new and just revitalized like this corner is, you know, with the Union for Contemporary Art being here. So yeah, so I just wanted to introduce those elements and hopefully have a continual conversation with folks about kind of what that means and how Pan-Africanism relates to not necessarily just an individual, but the surroundings and the environment as a whole. You know, I'm born and raised, you know, in North Omaha, and you know, I didn't come from a background that really had a lot of like, you know, arts programs or theater or really much of a music scene or anything happening that was really positive for youth in this community. So it was really good to see that, and I'm hoping that this mural can help, you know, expand on that in some sort of way.
Love hearing the meaning behind it. He's so talented. The program adds a mural in North Omaha each summer. Last year, a mural was painted in Florence and far North Omaha. A Council Bluffs boy knows a thing or two about being tough, both on and off the field. Jackson loves all things football, and he's a competitive little player, but that's not what makes him tough. Jackson has been battling brain cancer for 3 years and takes all the treatments in stride. He's had one dream throughout his fight, to play high school football. And as Karthik Venkatraman shows us, that dream turned into a major on-field surprise.
Growing up in Council Bluffs, Iowa, Jackson Tiarina started playing flag football at the age of 2.
Yay, Jackson!
He can throw a spiral when he was 3.
He is a great passer, but his favorite part?
Kicking.
He hasn't quite determined his position, but one thing is for certain. He wants to play high school football on Friday nights. His dad, James, a former Abraham Lincoln player and Jackson's flag football coach, wants nothing more than that too.
Yeah, they a dream. Dream come true.
The thought of that moment brings tears to his eyes when he thinks about it. Because 3 years ago, football was taken away from his son when Jackson was diagnosed with brain cancer.
He's just longing to be out there with the other kids.
Through multiple surgeries and 2 year-long rounds of chemotherapy, there have been times where Jackson couldn't speak well, keep his balance, or walk well either.
He's got a long way to go, and we're just beginning this journey.
But some moments can outshine the darkness.
Anytime that we can support a child that's in our community, we want to take an opportunity to do so.
Abraham Lincoln High School heard of Jackson's battle with cancer. In support of him and his love for football,
Hey, go, come on.
They let him be on the team for one night.
Let's go, Jackson!
He led the team onto the field, went out with the captains for the coin toss, and hung out on the sidelines.
I hope that he knows how much people love and support him.
It was a special moment for a kid who dreams of playing football again and being part of a team. He'll always be one, as a member of Abraham Lincoln High School's. Karthik Venkatraman, OSI.
And football isn't his only love. He's also a huge superhero fan. In particular, he loves Iron Man. Jackson has a port for treatments and says it gives him power just like Iron Man's. His parents went to work trying to share Jackson's story in hopes they could get it to Robert Downey Jr., the actor who plays Iron Man. Then this happened.
Jackson, is that you? Hi, it's Robert Downey Jr. But you can call me Tony. Thinking about you. Stay strong. Know that my prayers are with you. And also, you know, life is challenging. And you're just the man for the job.
Such an amazing gesture for such an amazing little boy. And I agree. Stay strong, Jackson. Still ahead, a local teacher is passing on some valuable advice from the Oracle of Omaha himself to her students. How she got connected with him and what she learned when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. Getting life and financial advice from Warren Buffett seems like a dream come true, and for one Omaha teacher, it's an opportunity she never saw coming, but one she cherishes and now uses as a teaching moment. Morning anchor Emily Zink explains.
Beautiful.
Ellen Augustine has a wealth of knowledge.
Save first, spend later.
But it's not just because she's a teacher.
And the printed ones here, the smaller ones, are the things I've learned from Mr. Buffett.
Yes, that Buffett. Augustine learned from the Oracle of Omaha himself.
Focus and be cautious of trends.
So how does a South High economics teacher get to know and then gain priceless info from one of the world's richest men?
Because I told the students Mr. Buffett would not recognize me in this dress, but if I put this on, he'd probably recognize me.
Before Piccolo's closed in 2015, Augustine moonlighted as a waitress at the steakhouse Warren frequented. She vividly remembers serving him for the first time in 2005 at his annual Christmas party.
There was about 25 people, and I go to serve Mr. Buffett his cherry Coke, and I set it on the table, and it falls over, and our white tablecloth is now brown.
Augustine says she was mortified, but Buffett laughed it off. She then got the opportunity to serve the billionaire for years.
Number one, be patient. He is the most patient person I've ever met.
Over time, waiting on Warren helped Augustine learn invaluable life lessons she decided to share with her students.
My first time ever mentioning his name, I had so many students that were like, who is that?
The teacher wanted to make sure her students didn't just learn Buffett's name, but adopted some of his life principles.
Smile. He loves to talk about making people smile.
For years, Augustine has taught a week-long Warren Buffett course in her Intro to Econ class.
What was the correct answer? Berkshire Hathaway.
Through research projects, assignments, and of course games.
Good job, Team Ramen. You're coming back.
Students start to get inspired about financial success.
And just saving up your money for the future is going to help you a lot.
It makes me want to save money and invest.
But during the lesson, they don't just learn about financial investments. They're taught Buffett's best investment tip.
Invest in yourself before you invest in others.
Augustine says it's an extremely important message to prepare these sophomores for future success.
You know, in this economy, you are something, you are worth something. What is that you want to be?
Emily Zink, 3 News Now.
Augustine still sees Buffett every now and then because she now waitresses at Garot's. A new bear has settled in at the Wildlife Safari Park in Ashland, but this bear is no stranger to Nebraska. His story and why he was in need of another new home when Omaha Sunday Morning continues. And on this Sunday, a look at what's happening this week in Omaha. Tuesday night, tune in to hear from Congressman Don Bacon and challenger Kari Eastman. 3 News Now and the Omaha World-Herald will host the second congressional debate at 6 p.m. And Halloween hits the Metro on Saturday with a number of trick-or-treat options. For more information on these events and many more this week, take a look at the community calendar on omaha.com. The cooler temps don't stop the crowds from packing the farm for a fall tradition. A little time to check out some interesting farm animals, alpacas. The ranch northwest of Fort Calhoun recently hosted its annual open house, giving kids and adults a chance to hang with the alpacas. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Kent Sievers took a trip to the farm.
Oh, I love it. Oh, good job. Oh, they're doing it.
The alpacas are actually, they're a very friendly animal. They are related to llamas. A lot of people know llamas, but they don't know alpacas. Alpacas are actually very, very sweet. That's why so many people come out here. They're very friendly. They'll eat carrots out of your hand. Those people that are adventurous, we give them carrot chips to put in their one end in your mouth, and the alpaca will come up and give you a little alpaca kiss.
You can touch the face. It's okay to touch carrot.
Well, she's feeding her baby right now. What are you going to do? Look, aren't they fuzzy? Look, great. Hold your hand flat. Good job.
Oh, I didn't know what to expect, but they're really friendly, and I'm obsessed now.
What does an alpaca sound like?
What kind of sound does he make?
Meh.
Did you feed it?
Yep.
What'd you feed it?
Carrot.
Did they like the carrot? What do you think of the alpacas?
Cute.
Cute?
Yeah, they're cute.
Do you want to put it in your mouth and have it kiss you? Did you open your mouth? You want it to kiss you?
I agree, they're cute. The Jacobys have 38 alpacas. Several are just a month old. A blind black bear is getting a second chance at the Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium Safari Park. Starsky and fellow black bear Hutch were taken from a private owner who was keeping the bears illegally as pets in southeast Nebraska back in 2006. He spent more than a decade at the zoo in Bear Canyon, but when a remodel closed the exhibit, the zoo worried about his future. That's when the Safari Park in Ashland stepped in. Omaha World-Herald visual journalist Ryan Soderlin explains.
Key target. Good boy. So we're at the Wildlife Safari Park here in Ashland, Nebraska, and Starsky came to us from the Henry Dorley Zoo where he was exhibited. Good. And they made the decision to move him out here. Target. So Starsky now has a permanent home out here with us. Good boy. A fully sighted bear, we would use cues. So if I wanted them to present a paw, I would present my hand and they would mimic that almost. With Starsky, since he cannot see, he is blind, he follows then a scent. So the keepers at the zoo began this with a PVC with a sponge using beaver musk, and so he has learned to follow that smell rather than a visual cue. All right. And touch. We don't train for tricks, we train for medical behaviors. So Starsky was basically just showing me different parts of his body. The standing up allows me to see his paws, allows me to see his belly, and then he also has learned how to walk into a side presentation and then lay down, which eventually we can do hopefully injection training and stuff on the fence line with him with being in that position. He is fed a protein and then produce diet, so meat and veggies, and then some fruits as well. Starsky has learned to reach his paw up and sit it on a platform, and then we're able to then manipulate his paw, and eventually we'll start working with veterinary technicians from the zoo and eventually start attempting at blood draws on his paw once we desensitize him to that. Oh, target. Good boy. Okay, put those paws down.
You can check out Starsky and all the other animals at the Safari Park daily through October. The park is open 9 to 5. Still ahead on Omaha Sunday Morning, sports reporter Phil Bergman is talking pranks and impressions with this week's Lucky Husker in Fill in the Blank.
He's trying to photograph every animal on Earth before they go extinct.
How many species have you photographed? 8,255, but who's counting?
See them tonight.
This Sunday morning, is the Earth really round? Believe it or not, some people still have their doubts. We'll also talk with Hillary Clinton about the wave of women running for office.
They are just giving me the biggest lift.
What's love? And catch up with Tina Turner.
Emotion.
Coming right up.
It's that time again. Time for sports reporter Phil Bergman to get the tough questions ready for our chosen Husker of the Week. This week, it's cornerback Eric Lee. He sat down with Phil ahead of the Northwestern game, talking pranks, poems, and impressions.
I'm sure you're aware of geography, but Northwestern's not in the Northwest. So what would you rename Northwestern if you had the choice?
Central Chicago.
Craziest prank that's going on in the locker room?
It's probably not a prank, just a birthday tradition of just tossing people in the cold tub.
Where have you been so far in your life that's the coolest place you've been?
I used to live in Boston. That's probably one of the coolest places just because all the history and things that have happened out there.
Let's hear your best Boston accent.
Pack the car and have it, yeah.
If you could make a haiku about your season, how would it go?
Chilling on the bench. My name just got called. I gotta go on the field.
Do you sing in the shower?
Yeah, I do. I'm a very big avid shower singer.
Go-to song right now for singing in the shower?
Mr. Brightside.
Can we hear a few lines from it?
Started out with a kiss and I was doing just fine.
It was only a kiss.
It was only a kiss.
Favorite movie?
Taken.
Could we hear the line from Taken?
I don't know who you are, but I will find you and I will kill you.
Liam Neeson, if we ever make a Taken 4 and 5, Eric Lee might have you beat for that star role. Hey, Eric, thank you so much for joining me. This was
Fill in the Blank.
That's all for this week. Thanks for watching Omaha Sunday Morning. We'll see you back here next week.